We got the very first episode of Tales from the Territories, the new show on Vice TV from the guys behind Dark Side of the Ring and The Rock's production company, $7, putting together a very similar show to the Dark Side of the Ring, the Tales from the Territories. What they're doing is they're doing this round table gimmick where they're taking a group of guys from all of the major territories, and each episode is a different territory, and these guys are just going to sit around a round table. They're having drinks, they're having cigars, and they're just talking about the good old days, the glory days. They're telling their tales, the stories from these territories. Stories from the territories. I'm a rapper, parappa rapper. What the fuck am I talking about? And this first episode was on Memphis, and this was just a fantastic show. They do the reenactments just like Dark Side of the Ring. You know, you can tell it's made by the same people. It's got a very much the same kind of look and production value with the reenactments, and then even just the filming of the roundtable interview itself. It's in like this dark warehouse, and you can see like the shadow of a fan spinning on the ceiling. And you can just tell it's got that like grit of the Dark Side of the Ring. But this is a little bit more lighthearted, not so much, because in this particular clip, easily could have been a Dark Side of the Ring episode. We hear Jerry Jarrett, of all people. Chicken salad, Jerry Jarrett. He's talking about gouging a motherfucker's eyeball out in the middle of the ring. Did this even actually happen? They said it did. Check out this clip.
Thing is, because they got to be close to you to hurt you. Stick your finger in your eye, you'll feel a little cord, move it to the left and pull out. They'll usually quit fighting when you do that. The plan was that I would get humiliated on TV by him knocking me out. I jumped up, my finger went in his eye, and he lost his eye. But then the story gets worse.
Oh, worse than that?
And while the truth of that story is still up for debate, it hasn't been fully debunked. Nobody's come out right and said, no, that didn't happen. And I do believe that fellow did in fact lose an eye at some point in time. It's just hard to picture Jerry Jarrett, of all people. But I guess, even in his day, he was a worker and fancied himself some kind of tough guy anyway. I think he was a working promoter. He was in the match at the time, or in a match, and he got hit on the head. I feel like that's a bit much if a guy clunks you from behind. He's not supposed to just, okay, I'm going to gouge his fucking eye out now. But hey, it's the territories. It was the wild days. And, there's a lot of people who are like, no, that could never happen. And, police would be involved and yada, yada. Not so fast, because the territory days were the Wild West like that. Those guys weren't like, that guy's not going to go just, call the cops, he ripped my eye out. Wrestlers rarely got cops involved, though I do actually think that guy did call the cops at some point, but it wasn't about the eyeball. It was about something different, but that was a rare occasion back in the day, because wrestlers didn't want to get cops involved in the business, both because wrestlers were usually just up to no good in general, doing dirty stuff, riding dirty and such, but also just because they didn't want to expose the business. If you say somebody hurt me for real, well, then now you're saying that it's supposed to be fake, because otherwise, if you're keeping kayfabe, then the cops are going to be like, well, yeah, he attacked you. That's what you guys do. Don't you beat each other up all the time? It's wrestling. That's what you do. So this was kind of a unique situation, and this is just a fantastic show. Just being a fly on the wall to listen to these stories, and it was heavily edited. You could tell, they're trying to keep it to the hour, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is. This thing is 40-some minutes with commercials. It would be an hour on TV. They did drop the full first episode on YouTube, which I have linked below in the description. So go check out the full episode if you like, and I highly recommend it. This was just fantastic. As good as any Dark Side of the Ring episode, as entertaining, maybe even more so in different ways. Memphis was a fun territory to just listen to the stories about. Yeah, Jerry Lawler, Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, Dutch Mantell was there, and I'm kind of blanking on maybe who else was sitting around the table there, but just them alone, just what a bunch of stories that they were able to tell and put together. And I just love the concept for this show. I'm excited to see what other territory stories that we're going to get from these other territories and some of these other guys that were involved with these. We are going to get another episode with the Memphis crew, as the boys from the Dark Side of the Ring have already explained that during the sit down for the Memphis episode, they got into talking about the Andy Kaufman story, as I talked about last week, and that they talked so much about it that they got a whole separate episode's worth out of that and felt like it was worthy of its own episode rather than just being tagged on to this Memphis show. So great shit. Go check that out. Highly recommend it. Dark Side of the Ring, Tales from the Territories. Love these shows. On to the next.
Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.